Cincinnati's ready for the Big 12. It was time for them.
I am fired up.
It's a blessing to be able to be in this league with y'all, putting on for UC.
Cincinnati, a basketball school.
And there he goes. Touchdown! Bearcats!
Raquama again. Another slam inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GoBeercats podcast. I'm Brandon. He's Darin. We are back. And what seems like it's been forever, Darin. We were technically here with everyone just a week ago. Now, if you listen on Spotify, you might be thinking, well, what the hell are you guys talking about? You were not here last week. But on YouTube, we did our first live stream with Captain Cincy. Great to have him on there for the first time, as well as Coomer and Hummer from Cincy Slangin. And had a pretty good time watching the BYU game and interacting with you and the guys. Definitely a good time. But the Bearcats have been busy since then, so we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. I was down in Nashville, actually Knoxville, dropping off my father-in-law. Luckily, my wife brought her laptop so I could tune in and, spend a special night with you fellas. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely. I know we said we definitely want to do that again. Good times. The beer was flowing. Some hot takes were flowing. It was a good time overall. So, and I think people from the numbers on YouTube, it looked like the people enjoyed that. So definitely something we have to get back and do that again for sure. I know the late starts on a Saturday night. It's kind of like prime time to do something like that because it's like internet television. Yeah. So it's good stuff. Definitely looking forward to getting together with the guys to do that again. And luckily, the Bearcats won their first Big 12 game when we did that live stream. So that was good too. Not the case the past two games here, which we got to talk about. We had a lot of like just performance things to talk about. We have some coaching decisions or philosophies to talk about as well. So we got to get into it here, Darin. Before we do that, though, you know that it is time for a beer. I am 50 West. I don't know the last time I had a beer from 50 West, but I'm rocking my 50 West hat here as well. One of my favorite brewery hats they have. This one's called Grand Reopening Double IPA. Nelson Sauvin, Mega, Montagnec, and Cascade Sub-Zero Keef hops, which I have no idea what most of that means. And I don't even see a percentage on this beer as far as the ABV content. So it looks like something, you get at a cookout. It's got some pickles, ketchup, mustard on there. We're going to crack this bad boy open and see how she's drinking today. You sipping on anything, Darin?
Just keeping it steady with the Cincy Light here. Finally you see it at steady in the stores. It's not a shortage as much anymore. They've increased production. Keep donating, keep buying, people. Help us keep the funds right.
Absolutely. I heard in the Discord, actually, I forget who it was, said that it's made its way up to Columbus now.
Well, there you go. They got to look at our stuff now.
That is good.
Does it taste like it would pair well with a hot dog and a burger?
You could throw back the glizzies with these for sure.
Oh, I love it.
The ABV is in a pickle here. Kind of a weird place to put the ABV, but it's 8.2%, so that'll get the job done.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A good thing I have Monday off. So we'll be sipping on that here as we talk, Darin. Let's work our way backwards here.
Yeah.
For the men's team, we'll talk about the women's team as well. They've played like 5 or 6 games since 5. I think you said since we talked last.
Yeah.
But most recently here, depends on when you're listening to this, the Bearcats fall on the road to the Baylor Bears 62-59 in another epic game that is going to give me gray hair in my beard sooner than later. What were you able to watch the game? What were some things that stood out to you as the Bearcats took on the Bears?
I had to miss that one, so I had to kind of catch a lot of the after the fact and catch clippings and things. another close one. I saw you talking on Twitter. You heard back from the Den, which is not me in this case. I do not run that Twitter account, disclaimer. But I thought they made a good point. You said it was something we should win. I think they said something it was a game we could have won. And I think that's a better way of looking at it. It may seem a little, forgiving, but you just never know, right? At the end of the day, it's like, who says we make the three on that and they don't turn around and just shoot it right back at the the board, or because you're playing what if at that point. Bottom line, I think could have won is a good place to put that game, just because you're playing what ifs there.
Yeah, for the Baylor game, I'll give. I'm assuming that was Brandon. I'll give Brandon that. The Texas game, I will say should, because we definitely should have won that game. As we're going back and forth here, that was a brutal way to lose that game on the last seconds winding down there at home. But it was a very winnable game. There was I think Baylor's largest lead of the game might have been 7 points. It was definitely single digits. It was right in there if it wasn't exactly 7. I didn't know what to think going into this game. I thought the Bearcats might be a little outmatched here on the road, number 14 team in the country. Baylor was 2-0 in the conference going into this. I think they've still only lost maybe 2. They've lost 2 games all season. I was kind of worried. I was like, this might have the potential to get ugly, especially with no Aziz. CJ Frederick is still out. I was kind of nervous. And the fact that, Dan Skillings comes out and scores 24 points, doing a little bit of everything. He looked like I think he surprised a lot of people, just random people that might have been watching a great Big 12 game. Because he 9 of 14 shooting with 24 points. He was probably the best player on the floor for the Bearcats almost the entire night. On a night where Vic Lockin had 3 points and 1 rebound at half. I think he finished with 7 points. I don't know exactly what state of mind he was in, or what, if maybe credit Baylor for doing special things against him, but he kind of faded away there in a big game. Thankfully, Dan stepped up and got it done for us as much as he could. But kind of a weird outing for Vic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Funny enough, today we were talking at the baby shower I had to attend. Shout out to my people, Michael and Liz Brown. Congratulations again. Someone mentioned that we need the guy, like a go-to guy. And I kind of remarked that in the day of NIL, that's not necessarily a necessity. You can build a good team, and it's also kind of mitigated that role. But starting out in the year, we were expecting Vic to kind of be the linchpin of this team. Maybe not, be someone who's going off for 30 points a game, but at least hold everything together on the floor. You don't have to run the offense through him, but you expect him to make the plays when they're needed. And there's just moments where it seemed like he's regressed a little bit. I don't know if he is relaxing a little bit now. He's got more support, but that relaxation's turned into apathy at times, or if he's just not able to pick his space properly. So he gets a brunt of that disappointment. You can't help but wonder at times, maybe Skillings is closer to being, because he's had some games this year where he has gone off and just carried us. And Baylor was no different last night. So those are questions you got to ask at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think Dan is, when he looked like he did against Baylor, he looks like he's a step or two away from being that guy that can take it over. The you know, the Jaron Cumberland or even the Julius type of get the ball in their hands. They're going to get you a bucket. You're safe because you know that's what they're going to do. I think the performance last night of Day Thomas was so, and some people were kind of debating this in the Discord as well. But like, because the Texas game, and I think there's been other the BYU game even maybe. The debate is why, or the question is why is Wes not playing Jizzle more minutes? And I'm all in on that. I don't know why at times, especially when Jizzle is taken over and he's going to go get you a bucket every time. Why is he riding the bench in the last 4 minutes of the game in this crucial period? But I didn't have that question against Baylor. I thought Day looked way better, especially early. I mean, I think he finished with 15 points and 0 turnovers. 15 and 0 turnovers. That's in a game that's close. That's as much as you can ask for out of either one of them. I don't think like we as a fan base, yeah, we want more Jizzle. I'm all for that. But if like you can't take away anything from Day when he's giving you a performance like that. You know, like maybe people wouldn't be question or, you know, would say, hey, put Jizzle in when he's hot, even though Miller hasn't done that. But when Day is answering the call, I don't think you don't throw Jizzle in there just because you should have the game before that. Yeah, no.
You know, Day gets a lot of the flack a lot of times because he's turnover prone at times. And he kind of becomes a focal point. You know, fans tend to focus on one thing out of the game that, you know, what is the problem? When a lot of times it's multiple things that add up to the failure, you know, in the win column that day. Because I mean, even Jizzle has some moments like where he's had some freshman-like turnovers.
Yeah,
I agree. You don't put him in because you should have last game. I mean, he had 11 minutes and really 2 points of contribution, if I saw correctly. So you know, it seems like West did go with the hot hand in Day this game. And obviously, you know, no one's going to outright ask him like, "Hey, what is your decision making between these two guards here?" You know, it feels a little bit more like the hot hand this time around. And you also question maybe he just doesn't. You know, I've wondered this myself. Maybe Jizzle's fitness isn't up to college standards yet, where he can contribute heavy minutes to a game. Consistently. He's definitely been great for a change of pace off the bench. He's got that skill set to the point where it almost makes too much sense for him not to be in.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, you and I, and I know others as well. But like again, I would like to see them both on the floor more. Especially in a game when you're struggling to score points. This felt like an old school Mick Cronin, Biggie. Maybe I was going to
Pittsburgh game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I swear to God, I was going to say that, Darin. I swear. I was going to tweet that out, and I was like, no, people will think I'm an idiot or something. But it felt like an old school Big East, Mick Cronin versus Pitt, the first to 60 win.
Yeah.
Type of game. And guess what? We scored 59. Baylor scored 62. They got to 61st. They won. That is exactly how it felt to me. And like my wife, like she's watched the last 2 basketball games with me, Darin, because after I was sick after last weekend, I unfortunately gave it to her. I feel bad, but she's been on the couch watching these 2 games with me, and she's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "This is the second game in a row where it's literally back and forth the entire time." I was like, "Babe, this is Big 12 basketball now. Every game the rest of the season is going to be like this." She's like, "Well, I can't take it." As I'm standing up, pacing the living room, and I was like, "Neither can I. I'm stressing out here." So, I mean, they're fun games. Like, I love that these games are meaningful again. Like, they're stressful. One, I'm glad that we're in them. I think John Rothstein was tweeted out something brutal. He's like, this week's been brutal for Cincinnati because they played well enough to be 3-0, but we're 1-2 in the Big 12, and like it's just like literally 20 seconds maybe of what if, like what if, especially like if we go back to the Texas game where we haven't even talked about that, but the Big 12 home opener against Texas, and we're leading the entire second half, it feels like, and they come down and get a mid-range clinker off the backboard, off the front of the rim, and it bounces in. What do you think? Let me ask you this about the Texas game. What do you think about the no timeout call after Texas made that bucket?
I mean, there's so many things that just
people were big mad at Wes for not calling a timeout.
The timeout. I mean, people focus on the timeout. People focus on the travel. People focus on not fouling them going down the court on that. For the potential recovery on your own end to have the ball in case you need it. There's a lot of what ifs. I think that's just the learning experience as a team more than anything. This is arguably West's most talented team to date. You wonder if they're not still trying to figure some things out. That just seems like a little bit of coaching mismanagement and learning there at that moment there. It's not. You got to win those games at home, obviously, but I don't think I'm as heartbroken about that one. Just
about the loss or the no timeout call.
The no timeout call.
Yeah.
The loss itself is like
it's brutal.
It's
okay.
brutal.
Yeah, we had 15 turnovers that game. Yes. Okay. If you score on half of those, you win the game. The foul shots are brutal. I don't remember the last time UC has had a great to solid free throw shooting team. I don't know if we ever have actually. Those are two things that lost you the game right there. The travel call at the end is insane to me. The non-call, I should say. You're literally in position. You are 3 feet away from the guy, and he literally goes sliding down the court like he's like he's Tom Cruise in Risky Business or whatever the movie is. Literally slides both feet. That's like the easiest call of all easy calls. You have to make that. Like I know, like that's just brutal. The timeout. I don't mind the non-timeout from Wes Miller. So that game, CMOS has the hot hand. I think he finished that game with almost 20 points, with 19. Would have been 22 had he made the three at the end at the buzzer. But you maybe like 6 seconds left.
Yeah,
is it left on the clock? Something like that. You have Texas scrambling to get back. You get the ball in the hands of your point guard, who finds CMOS, who's the hottest hand, who gets up a good look three at the buzzer. It was so close to going in. Like watching like the highlights of that during the Baylor game. Like I was like, that is it. I mean, it almost went in. It was almost like a double shocker there.
Yeah.
So I don't mind that at all as the defense is scrambling to get back and everything went right for you.
Yeah.
As far as the development of getting a shot, getting the ball, who needed to get the ball, it just didn't go in. To set up some, like, are you going to get a better look than that if you rush the ball up the floor, call a timeout, run a sideline out of bounds play, and get something? I don't know, but it wasn't like it was some 3/4 court heave. It was a good look from the guy that you wanted to take the shot.
Yeah. You wonder if we have more time on the clock. Do we go for the paint instead?
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
But again, it's what if, it's these have been games we should have won, Baylor we could have won, but to put in the UDs on that.
Yeah. What if you could hold Disu to less than 33 points? That guy torched us all night at home.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's again, it's like you just don't know what's going to happen. You change those branches, and not to get like super meta out here,
Yeah.
but like you just don't know what happens next. Say you do this, say this, you change this decision here. There's always time for there's still be different result. It's always so it makes it easy to hyperfixate on the last moments of a game and not the overarching thing. We've been in these games, we can compete. Like that's I guess the silver lining in these two games is that we do not look like we just rolled out of the MAC into this
we don't look outmatched at all. 100%.
Yeah. You again, you wonder another what if the team's at full health these past two games, how it goes.
I was literally about to say that the difference between our first Big 12 win and our last two Big 12 losses has been the absence of Aziz Bandango.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't play at all against Baylor. And you can say, well, he played against Texas. He played 15 minutes against Texas, scored 0 points, and had 5 rebounds, mainly because I think he was just trying to, tough out some minutes to be out there when he probably, obviously he wasn't as effective as he usually is in a game. Like look at BYU where he had a double-double. We win by 11.
And even he was banged up coming into that game.
Yeah.
I think he gave it what he could as far as health in that BYU game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he re-aggravated
the back.
Yeah. I mean, focusing. I guess we're rolling backwards in that BYU game. And then after that, I want to take a look at another positive overall. That BYU game, first win. The boys were buzzing. We're out having a good time.
Buzzing is the right word.
It started off a little crazy because you were seeing it the vision come together. During that game, you're like, okay, I see what we're trying to do. I see that we can compete. I see we're hanging around. And, of course, they had a little bit of a run there that kind of like, oh no, here we go. But it was frustrating because you could see that we, again, could win that game out there on the road. We were hanging around, and then the human battery, JJ, Jizzle James, comes in and flips that game on its head. And Aziz actually came in late in that game too also. So I'd say those two really turned that game around. And so the vibe shifted. They basically went cold on the back half of that game.
Yeah, except for what was the guy's name? The Nell or Canell or whatever. He was the only dude that could hit the broadside of a barn throughout the entire game. Everyone else went ice cold.
Well, it's funny because I don't know if you saw the headline. I think someone shared it in the Discord about the threes weren't enough. Despite his effort in that game. Because I mean he was hot. Like he could not miss. But they didn't seem like they had a backup plan for the moments where he did miss. They just kept throwing him up. They didn't seem to deviate from that. And I think that's kind of a problem having, I guess, I always complain about, maybe our identity's not here yet, but maybe that's the problem, having your identity established so soon and not being tested up to that point. You're doing insane things.
If as I'm like looking through the box scores here and just trying to look at the difference between the BYU game and then the two Texas games, Texas being Texas and Baylor, Locken and Aziz combined for 29 points and 18 rebounds in the BYU win. 29 and 18 in the Texas game. Like I said, Aziz 0 points. Vic had 17. Solid outing for him. Great. The two combined though, 17 points, 9 rebounds. And then the Baylor game, obviously Aziz didn't play, and Vic only had 7 points, finished with 1 rebound. Victor Locken has to do much more than 7 and 1 for this team to win. If he gets, I think he's averaging like 14. If he gets his average, we win that game against Baylor. So like I don't know. Nothing sticks out in my mind about like things that other than the zone against Baylor. We didn't talk about the zone. The 1-3-1 zone sent us into just no man scoring land for I think we went like 6 or maybe 7 minutes without scoring a bucket. I remember tweeting we needed the bucket more than we needed the oxygen at one point. But when they threw that zone out at us, that we had no clue, like we just kept. It seemed like we were just running our normal man-to-man offense, or like we were just like we're gonna stick with this, and by God, we're gonna run this play, and it's gonna work, or else. And then the or else happened for like 7 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
like we were not ready for that at all.
That's some credit to Scott Drew too.
Oh, for sure.
He just knows how to throw it at you, give you different looks that just he can diagnose you, any way he wants, and it worked. I don't know if he was preying on our stubbornness on that, and like made the switch, or if he just he saw something that we did at that point.
Yeah, I don't know what the adjustment to that needed to come much quicker. And other than the zone, the biggest thing, maybe the biggest thing so far of the year that we haven't talked about, Darin, is the god awful shitty camera angle of the Baylor game. I know you said that you didn't get to watch the game.
Yeah,
holy God, it was bad. Like I immediately commented on Twitter. I just said, this camera, what is this? What the fuck is this camera angle? And immediately I had Iowa State fans say, I know exactly what this guy's talking about with no context. Like, I don't know what Baylor, like, they said that like the bleachers are just so steep because they have a 7,500 seat new arena or whatever, but like the seats must go like this. And they were like, you know what, let's just put the camera here.
Don't lean forward.
Like, you're looking at, it was bad. I couldn't, it took me like literally half of the first half to get used to it. It was brutal.
Well, I feel like I kind of knew that going in too, because I had already, like people could tell even before, like, because this is their second game in the arena or third.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like because it was just completed, if I remember correctly. Or am I?
Okay.
Yeah. At least that's what I thought. But based on design, I kind of already knew that was going to be a hard place to stick a camera. It's. I mean, we'll definitely put that on our board for bad audio video of the year so far, up there with Howard.
I'll give Howard the one, but so far Baylor's the 2, and it's not. There's a huge gap between whatever 3 is going to be.
We'll see what else we get so far this season. So let's bring it back around to Texas here. Outside of the loss, that place was jumping. I don't know if you got a chance to attend the game or not. I didn't.
That was Tuesday night. I was fresh out of a fever dream.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, you don't want to get out sick either. Makes sense. Yep. But no, the even from TV, it was a great pleasure to view Fifth Third like that. I almost called it Shoemaker. View Fifth Third like
that. You won't get a correction here.
The environment was great. It was, one of our Discord members, Zach Blanford, president of the Pride, was at the game. He was obviously mad about the loss, but he said the energy was great. We got to talking about. He said, I can't remember the last time anything was like, it was like this. And I was like, I remember DePaul games having more energy than playing against a Tulsa at home in our gym, and it is good to be back. The fans showed up. They knew what was at stake. They knew what we were walking into, and they delivered. They answered. It's great to see the energy high like that, because it's not the conference schedule is not being met with apathy at all.
Before you're like, man, I like basketball, I guess I'll go watch the Bearcats take on Temple and East Carolina and Tulane. But like you're right, like it's back to you better like bring it, because this is like this. I mean, everything's a quad one game.
Yeah.
Everything's quad one. Like it doesn't matter. It's quad one. It's meaningful. It's a resume builder. Literally every night. Lenardi has this as the first 4 in right now, or at least the last time he released a little bracketology. I don't know if he did. That was before the Baylor game, so we'll see. But you're right. There are a ton of people. Professor Butts in the Discord was talking about the environment and how just insane it was. I know it won't be quite the same, but I have potentially have the ability to go Tuesday against UCF.
Okay.
I think that's this Tuesday. Which you're like, well, it's UCF. They just beat Kansas.
Yeah.
They just beat Kansas. What is happening in the Big 12 where UCF literally everyone's like, yeah, they might win a game in the Big 12, beat Kansas. And then Iowa State beats Houston. Houston's 1-2 in the conference as well. It's not like, we're like, it's just the Big 12 basketball is a wild and very fun place.
Yeah. Your Tuesday game, is it this Tuesday?
I think it is, yes.
That's going to be TCU, actually.
TCU. What am I talking? Well, maybe.
Yeah.
See, I got to get out of this fever dream.
Yeah,
it would be helpful if I was looking at the men's schedule.
Yeah.
That would probably help me a lot too.
Yeah.
TCU is not until Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. So
they're going to. I don't know. Oh, UCF. The 27th is when they play UCF.
Yep.
As a coach, I usually have games on Saturday, but I don't have one that Saturday, so that's another potential game I could go to as well. That's where that comes in. So, maybe I'll make it to both. Hell,
there you go. Happens? Treat yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, looking forward. TCU looking a little dangerous. I mean, everybody's dangerous. Yeah,
that was a crazy game that was on right before our game last night. And I was like, Houston's going to pull this out. I threw money at Houston on DraftKings, and then that did not work out well for me. They lost.
I mean, because they beat OU handily at the end. They gave Kansas, all they could give them.
Yeah.
83-81's a loss. But, I mean, you just don't know in this league. Everything's a coin toss, it feels like, which is great for, entertainment. Yeah. Not great for our heart rates, but
not at all.
Right now we open up as the favorite, which is always fun, I guess. Appreciate the confidence. Looking at I don't know if the odds are out yet on this though. But at least the predictors got us at 66.3 victory likelihood. But I want to throw that all out the window. They're looking pretty good. Looking at who we have to watch out for at a glance. Yep, I just jumped out of my notes here.
I mean, we have TCU next on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Number 9, Oklahoma. Number 3, Kansas. Then we have UCF at home, who just, like I said, beat Kansas. And then you're at West Virginia, who just beat Texas at home as well. So, I mean, West Virginia, they might be in a down year because, the coaching turnover that they're dealing with Hugs and whatever. But Morgantown is still a brutal place to play.
Yep. Down year for other conferences, not or for our conference, but not down year for other conferences. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit of a gauntlet to run through. Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if are we playing up to our potential right now with these first 3 Big 12 games? The BYU, Texas, Baylor, all of them good, close games. Are we reaching our potential, or are we playing out of our minds?
Yeah. And
this is going to, the shit will hit the fan, and, we're going to get steamrolled by Oklahoma or whatever. Is which one is true here? Can we keep up this effort, this sort of, ability to play at this level? Or are we just running off adrenaline and we're going to lose steam? I hope we're playing to our potential and we're going to steal some of these games. I hope it's not the latter with the adrenaline running out eventually here, because like you said, it's a gauntlet. It's not getting any easier, no matter if you're going to Orlando or Morgantown or wherever. It's not going to get easier.
No, not at all. I mean, it's to answer your question, it's going to depend. Either our first, solid, very solid win again, or we just get steamrolled by somebody, and that's going to be closer to giving you your answer at that point.
Yeah, for sure. It's either way, I'm having a good time, Darin. Like, losing these close games suck, but the teams that we're playing, where we're going, being on the bubble right now, I'll take it. I love it. Let's get a couple more of these wins under our belt. Let's if we beat Kansas, I'm going to be reckless online. I am going. That's coming up this weekend, the 22nd. That's Monday. That's a Monday night. That's terrible. Who schedules that for a Monday night? So that Sunday, that Tuesday might be brutal. We'll have to see what happens there. But I'm looking forward to that game. If UCF can beat Kansas, by God, we can beat Kansas. I still would love to get Houston. We have them here at Fifth Third on a Saturday. See if I don't know if I have a game that day or not, but would love to go to that. We're way too familiar with them. Like, battled them out in the American for plenty of years. We've got the best of them, and then most recently they've gotten the best of us. I'd like to knock them off at least once here as well. Which reminds me, last thing I want to talk about here real quick, because I think the answer is pretty easy before we move on to the women's team.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know if this has been officially accepted or not, but we said this on the live stream, and it was pretty much open and shut case. Number 12 BYU on the road. Bearcats win 71-60, and I think we all said that is the marquee win for Wes Miller so far.
Yes,
as he's the Bearcats coach. Any pushback on that at all?
I mean, recency bias probably, but yeah, I mean that looks like a solid yes. Yeah, I'll still ride high on that.
Yeah, we don't. That was the only time we play BYU this year, actually. So that means I hope BYU wins every single game they have left. I hope they. I haven't looked at their schedule. I don't think that I will look at their schedule. I am a BYU Cougar fan for the rest of the year. Here as the at least before the Big 12 tournament starts. So I agree. I think it's the marquee win. I think it takes over the Illinois win year one for Wes. I think he has plenty of potential to one up himself going forward here, but right now, yeah, I think it's easy on the road. Number 12 team in the country. I'll say that's his marquee win as the Bearcats coach for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll ride high with that. Yeah, that's no arguments from me on that at all. Yeah, I mean, again, I think we were I have to check Houston's score real quick, but I'm pretty sure we were the first to get our Big 12 win potentially.
Yeah, I don't know when Houston won theirs, or I don't know. Because I thought they were winless, and I tweeted that out last night, and then I quickly deleted it because I saw that they were 1-2. So I don't know who or when they beat, but we might be the first win, which is completely opposite of football. So I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. At that point, no, they beat us by a day.
Okay,
West Virginia.
Okay, all right. Well, that's all right. At least we were in the first, at least opening day wins. I'll take. Yeah. You got anything on the men's team? I mean we crushed that. We sort of just winging this here. I didn't have any notes. Just I know I've watched every second of the last 3 games, so pretty easy to talk about. And then we can go over to the women's team.
Yeah, let's hop over to the
as well.
Sisterhood.
They sit 9-7 right now. Just 1-4 in conference play, though. Their one win coming I think it was the day after the Texas game, or maybe 2 days after, but they won it in the same fashion that the men's team lost the Texas game, literally on a bucket at the buzzer to win by, I think, 1 against UCF to give them their first Big 12 win, which was a pretty epic game. I know they lost to BYU yesterday by 10, which is, all things considered, not that bad, considering some of the better teams in the conference, they've gotten worked by, especially. I watched that Kansas State game. I'm sorry, K-State. We did a preview on that. That was fun. That's probably the last time we really recorded like a real podcast episode. Those guys at Aggieville did not warn us about the Gap goat. I don't know. Did you see that I tweeted out?
I missed that one.
They have a on the bench. I was like, what is that? It was a stuffed goat. It has like a teddy bear goat. It had a chain,
okay,
sunglasses. I was like, what is this thing? And it has its own Instagram account. So to them, a gap is when you get 3 stops in a row on defense. They call that a gap. So if you can get multiple gaps a game, they try to get like 5 gaps a game or something, whatever their number is, and then that's their formula for their or for winning the game. If we can get the X amount of gaps, we'll win the game. And then they have a sort of like the touchdown drum that the Bearcats had, or the turnover chain, or whatever it is that teams celebrate with in football. The stuffed goat is what they celebrate their gaps with. I follow it on Twitter now because it's pretty ridiculous. So obviously I want to follow along on that. But Kansas State 66-41 loss after our preview episode. But in that, remember we talked to Ace about their big who was just like a dominant player. I mean, maybe one of the top 5 dominant players in college basketball that doesn't get talked about a lot outside of, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and whoever. But this girl is a force. And from what I remember, the Bearcats held her in check pretty respectively, even in a big loss.
Yeah, no, I think they did what they I'd say they did what they needed to do initially on that. It's just that the talent gap around their team is just
she had 6 points.
Yeah. They did what they needed to do with her. Problem was everyone else can answer. And it just wasn't a good time. There was a little bit of back and forth after our game. Their social media account said it wasn't like anything just blatantly like mean, but it was enough to pique our ear because it was our first Big 12.
Katrina was pissed.
Katrina was not happy.
I think what it was, like in the post game celebration hype video, they told the Bearcats basically, welcome to the Big 12.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Very sarcastically and, kind of dickishly.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the Big 12. We just beat you, 20 points or whatever. And I don't think Coach Merriweather took kindly to that. There was a Twitter tweet response to it.
Yeah.
An Instagram post that, basically said the same thing, response to it. So, I don't think they took too kindly to that welcoming gesture.
I'm pretty sure they actually took it down because I can't find it.
The Katrina post?
From like their little video that they sent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They took it down. Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, it's not like obviously like it's not like our girls, are going to be innocent. They're athletes. They're probably talking a little trash to themselves during the game.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's like take it easy on us. We are not the same right now.
Right. Like I wasn't like big mad about the it was like, to me I was just like, oh, like yeah. Like I didn't expect a response from Katrina like to that little clip, but I get, but good for her. She that's your team's your family. You stick up for your family. So I have no issues with it. I just didn't expect her to respond like that. Yeah. She wore the name on the chest. So like I just wasn't expecting that. And I was like, oh, like okay.
she's not gonna get in trouble for that either. So it's
No,
like,
no, no.
like
Yeah, and like she was like very restrained in her tweet. Like,
yeah.
she was like, I think she like started to say something, and she's like, you know what, never mind.
Mhm.
Like literally said that. But yeah, that was interesting. We that was the only time they play K-State. I'm looking here. That's unfortunate because
Yeah.
that'd be fun to see what happens next. They lose that one, almost 20 points. They go to West Virginia. They lose 68-53.
Playing a little bit better, but you know,
A little bit better, but still. They lose a pretty good game to Oklahoma at Oklahoma, 77-64, before their epic win at the buzzer against UCF.
yeah, they got hot with Oklahoma basically got hot on their 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
And then because we were only down by I think 1 point, and then they just got hot. And it was just kind of they never looked back after that. Again, you see it coming together. You see the vision she's trying to build. The culture is already flipped on its head, which is great.
Yeah.
I think it's just about getting the players in the system, getting the players you want.
And with Chloe Mann coming, like I know she was, she's nominated for a McDonald's All-American or something like that. I know that would be huge for her to get that. Something we'll follow as well. A big time recruit for Meriwether, and will be. I would expectations would be for Chloe to come in and have a pretty big impact right away.
Absolutely, at this level, you don't doubt that. Obviously, as they continue to build this thing, maybe that changes. But you're trying to build a dynasty here. Moving on, first win, UCF, Thriller.
Yeah, I unfortunately have not had. I watched a little bit of the BYU game, but I was not able to see the UCF game at all. Then I saw on Twitter like the highlights that the team account throws out, and it looked like it was an offensive rebound bucket underneath type of thing. Correct?
Yeah.
If I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much what happened. Ariel Jackson, they gave her the ball to kind of finish out. She drove to the rim. And so, I mean, to UCF's credit, they got their hands up and surrounded her. She, it didn't make it. One of our people tried to swoop it up, but Ariel snatched it back herself and said, "Give me that. And let me get a second chance here." And the rebound went in. It was that game. They were speaking to the rivalry on TV. They're like, yeah, this isn't necessarily like a traditional rivalry. They haven't played that long, but like this game is heated. It's top to bottom. These universities do not like each other, it seems, which is great. So it's good to beat a rival. She basically went through 2 defenders on that, and then they surrounded her, and she got the ball back and put it back up and left like 0.5 or 0.5 on the clock. And I mean they couldn't do anything with that. I was watching with a wife. She said they better not make this. So we had a good time. We're definitely taking some interest in women's basketball. It's good to support this university and see what Katrina's trying to build there with the sisterhood. So, and then like you said, we lost to BYU. Again, we're just not completely there yet. I think once we do, it's better.
It was weird to see that, what the men's BYU team strategy was, which was to chuck up threes until you literally couldn't anymore. And then it seemed like the women's strategy was exactly the same thing. It's like across the university, they have one basketball philosophy, and it is just to chuck up threes. It was weird to see like it transfer over like that.
Was it just like every kid has a hoop in the driveway and they just shoot all day?
But like it's like they have a 30-foot marker or whatever it is, and they don't like go inside of it at all.
Because like they recruit heavily local. Like they are very local with their recruiting. From what I understand about their programs, a lot of their kids are from around the state, or I don't say kids at this point. Like once they get the seniors, they pretty much just have established lives. I mean, like some of these people are married by the time they finish their college athletics. So, you see us hanging around early in a lot of these games against the traditional Big 12 powers, and just even some of the other ranked teams. I just don't think we have enough depth at the end of the day to keep it up. And finishing out, they just whether they just get hot from threes, because you're giving your kids some breathers, or they just out talent you right away. Again, I see the vision. You see the determination, the grit, the toughness in that team, with their ability to hang around. Just need to get a few more pieces in place, and I think we're looking at something special here.
Yeah, I'll be, I want to see, can they like figure out a way to steal a game that they're not supposed to win? Like that would be a huge victory for this team, this program, like in year one, if they can, can they knock off someone that they shouldn't on a night when they get hot? Looking at like a Texas, even a West Virginia next Saturday, who's ranked 24th. I mean, shoot, if we can knock off number 4 Baylor, I'll take that too. But yeah, just something fun for them to hang their hat on to build momentum going forward. I would love to see that happen, down the line for them in the coming weeks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just the way the sport is this, for the women's NCAA, there's going to be chances because like teams just go cold all the time. There's just like droughts where no one's scoring. Can they take advantage of those moments and be the one that comes out better in those moments, those droughts? I mean, because you've seen it, you saw it against, BYU and like Kansas, even where like it was close for a bit, and because no one was putting it up, but we weren't either. So it's like, it's so like, what do you do? There's opportunities there. Will they? I don't know. I mean, the schedule is so condensed for them. Compared, like I said, there's 5 games that passed, and we didn't get a chance to look at most of them. So, we'll see.
For sure. I know, Saturday I should be able to watch that next game for sure. I think depending on the start time. I know I have a game Saturday as well, but both teams super fun to watch. As we are, as it's going to be like 4 degrees here in Cincinnati this week. I know that they've started like the season ticket are on sale for baseball season, which is right around the corner. And I know you and I talked about wanting to provide more coverage on that. Another sports team that I've been trying to at least tweet about more is the golf team. Definitely want to keep covering that as well. I don't know. I wish that we could have golf coverage. Just like an internet stream of the different invitations.
Yeah, you have the scoreboard watch basically.
That's all. I mean, it's easy to do at work. I just throw that up and I'll refresh it in between bells or whatever, and check it, which is fine. But like, it's 2024. Like, we should be able to like stream that somewhere. Whether I would love to watch some college golf. So I don't know. Maybe we gotta. Fan council in the Discord. I am going to suggest that to the guys literally right after we get off here, Darin, because I will see if they can't. There's talks about that because I would certainly love that as well. So we got, I think basically I said all of that to say that even though we're in the middle of basketball season, it's 4 degrees outside. We got some long-term plans to keep covering Bearcats athletics because we got a lot of fun teams and programs to follow along with. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and speaking of baseball, we got some stuff coming up. Not us, but like the university. This I want to say it's going to be Thursday. February 1st of February. They have a first pitch banquet. 6 p.m. to 8, $50 ticket cost. It's going to be at Fifth Third in the Champions Club.
Dinner's included, cash bar, and then there's going to be a nice Q&A for Bishop and his players he's comfortable having in front of the microphone. So it's a good another opportunity to get to know your team this year. I also recommend for anybody to if you can swing it, check out d1baseball.com. Great write-ups. It's
good follow on Twitter too.
Yeah, subscription based. Great follow on Twitter. They lean a little heavy on the SEC ball because SEC is kind of where baseball is at in college. But no, it's a good follow. Ticket options are, like I said, this year they've bumped them up to $75 for GA per ticket. That was going to happen. That's up from $50, so $15 increase. They new to this though, they are adding dedicated seats behind home plate. So for $100, those tickets go. There's also going to be Mug Club. From what I heard,
I saw that. Tell us more about this. This is a great idea.
Yeah. So from our hookup on that, we won't name names, but it's going to be $5 beers, $3 sodas until the 5th inning. At least that's the plan that's coming out via word of mouth.
That might be an exclusive Go Beercats podcast breaking news right there. I don't know if they've made that official yet. So
it's not official. I'm not going to name but rumor has it that
it's coming though.
That's what. They've already pitched it. They don't think they've explained too much on paper up front, but that's kind of what it's looking like. I think it's Mug Club's always fun in a lot of bars. Having it for baseball is great. I know there's been talks in the Discord of getting some tailgating going, which would be great. Last year I really tried to see if I could find something on tailgating culture in baseball. What people's game days look like. Really, the only place I could find, ECU of all places. I tried to. They're really big about baseball there.
They are. Yeah.
I try to see because I figured the Big 12 was a bit of a baseball conference. They definitely have some great ballparks. Not as with Oklahoma and Texas. I was assuming I could see some game day stuff, but I really couldn't find anything.
That's interesting because I know that when we are like the over the summer thing that the getting to meet the Big 12 or whatever, the Big 12 road trip that we did, TCU said baseball was their number 2 sport. It was football, not basketball, but baseball. So that would be interesting to see, what are their sort of game day activities are there. Maybe I'll reach out to the Lupton Drinking Club again and talk to them about that. Cause that'd be a nice little Catskeller social dot club article. I know Sam Elliott, the betting man, Sam Elliott sort of carried the torch as far as posting articles to the website. So maybe we need to throw out some baseball stuff there for the spring for people to look into there on the website. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like partner with obviously the Republican and the Den, see if we can get turn that into something, because right now there's not really pregame going on there.
Yeah, I know the Republic had a decent, nice tailgate for the
spring game.
Yeah. So that was baseball not too far there. So for sure.
We'd have to likely meet with the AD or the university, really kind of see where we
got to green light something there for sure.
Yeah. So
right.
Possibilities are fun. Football tickets also, the renewal has started that. You have till March 1st, I believe, to renew your tickets and put in to buy those. But yeah, that's kind of our general news around the campus there.
Good stuff. Because Darin knows I didn't think we were going to go an hour tonight, to be honest with you. But like we had a lot to get through. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in those 3 games for the men's, the women's playing 5 games, and a little bit of spring stuff to look forward to what we were talking about here. So we threw a lot at you if you're still listening with us almost an hour in here. So we got more coming up for sure. Basketball season is super fun so far, and we're just really getting started with the Big 12 conference games getting started here. So we'll keep this up, and we'll see if we can't talk again next week, Darin. All right. Well, cheers. Go Bearcats.
Cheers, go Bearcats.